A very good afternoon. Welcome to UBC's Weekly News Roundup with me, Moureen Babirye, on this 31st of May 2026. Let's catch you up on what transpired in the course of the week and today. In our first report, Parliament this week approved Katakwi District Woman MP, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, for the position of Vice President of Uganda, as well as Kakumiro District Woman MP, Robin Anabanja as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda and Leader of Government Business in Parliament. Legislators described the appointees as women of valor, patriotic and capable leaders who have transformed Uganda for the better through their leadership over the past 5 years. This was during the maiden plenary seating of the 12th Parliament held in the parliamentary chambers at Parliament. Take a look.
Legislators of the 12th Parliament graced the August House in large numbers as it was their first plenary session in the parliamentary chambers. Some members of Parliament were seen struggling to find where to sit, with some standing while others occupied the public gallery. Notable figures, including former Speaker Rebecca Aitwara Kadaga, also appeared for the plenary. However, when the Speaker Jacob Maxson Zoboth entered the House, there was a sound system failure which forced him to return to the VIP room, leaving members of Parliament displeased, while others stretched prayers towards the Speaker's seat. Minutes later, everything returned to normal, and Shema South MP Ephraim Kamuntu moved a motion for Parliament to approve the appointment of retired Major Jessica Alupo as the Vice President of Uganda.
The nominee, Honorable Major Retired Jessica Alupo, embodies the qualities and experience befitting the high office of Vice President.
Kampala Central MP Hajat Mr. Kabanda and Soroti City West MP Calvin Echodu seconded the motion, highlighting that Jessica Alupo is a patriot and a diligent leader.
The nominee before us, Honorable Major Retired Jessica Rose Alupo, is a leader of proven competence, integrity, dedication and dedication.
Abel embodies the qualities and experience befitting this high office. She is a humble, result-oriented leader, a Pan-Africanist.
Parliament subsequently approved Jessica Alupo for the position of the Vice President after securing 325 votes. In the same sitting, Parliament also approved Kakumiro District Woman MP Robin Anabanja as Prime Minister for the 2026-2031 term and Leader of Government Business in Parliament with 320 votes. Leader City Woman MP Jane Ruth Acheng moved the motion for approval, citing various achievements registered during Nabanja's previous tenure as a Prime Minister.
82% of the total bills indicated in the legislative program were introduced. 96% of motions were submitted. 99% of Prime Minister's questions were responded to.
Dennis Namara, MP Buyaga West, and Esther Nyakun seconded the motion.
Right Honorable Nabanja's leadership has been central to Uganda's socio-economic transformation. She has had an outstanding focus on strategy targets geared towards household transformation.
Nabanja, I worked with her under her leadership, and she's a superintendent of hard working in this country.
Other legislators who seconded Nabanja's approval for Prime Minister implored her to be strict with ministers to ensure adequate legislation in Parliament.
The Speaker is in the House and the front bench is empty. You go to committees of Parliament, you wait for ministers, you invite them, they don't appear. That's the work of the Prime Minister, Leader of Government Business.
Speaker, I am up to second the motion. Right Honourable, you worked for this, and it is just right and fitting. Just like a Catholic, we always say it is right and fitting.
Following the approval by Parliament, both the Vice President and the Prime Minister had this to say.
My reappointment, that Honourable Speaker, is not just a personal milestone, but an important responsibility to advance Uganda's socio-economic transformation as emphasized by His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda.
I assure him and all the people of Uganda that I shall serve with utmost dedication, patriotism, and loyalty, giving undivided attention to all matters of national importance that come before me during my tenure. I call upon all of us members of this House to envisage the Uganda with the GDP of US $500 billion, but connect all the grassroots masses who we are leading to this economy.
Rebecca Nantongo, Gloria Gutabenji, Parliament.
And I want to guide.
Parliament, on the same note, equally approved the move to accommodate more 39 ministers as appointed by President Yoweri Museveni in the recent cabinet for 2026 to 2031 term. The move is part of a law which provides that Parliament approves another number of ministers as appointed by the President, contrary to the provision in the Constitution of 42 ministers. The House unanimously agreed that the dynamics in population, priorities and needs have since shifted and are more demanding, hence the justification of more ministers.
Chapter 7 of the 1995 Constitution provides that the total number of cabinet ministers shall not exceed 21, except with approval of Parliament. It also provides that the President may, with the approval of Parliament, appoint other ministers to assist cabinet ministers in the performance of their functions. The total number of the other ministers appointed shall not exceed 21 except with the approval of Parliament. This is the spirit that Parliament on Tuesday afternoon deliberated on the move to vary the total number of cabinet ministers from 21 to 30 and other ministers from 21 to 51 as appointed by the President in the recent cabinet list for 2026-2031 term dubbed No Sleep.
Parliament has historically varied the number of ministers in every session since the sixth Parliament, establishing precedent.
The Prime Minister, Robina Nabbanja, interested the House to consider factors including the increment in population since 1995 from about 20 million to the current 14 million in 2024.
The districts have expanded from 39 to 146, creating new governance demands. As per a per capita increase in ministerial portfolios is necessary to match service delivery needs and ensure equitable representation.
The expansion of government priorities, including wealth and job creation, have also contributed to the justification for more ministers.
Flagship programs such as the Parish Development Model, PDM, the Emyoga Initiative, and climate resilience strategies require dedicated ministerial oversight to ensure effective implementation. Specialized portfolios are needed to coordinate cross-cutting programs, monitor government performance, and guarantee accountability at grassroots level.
A new mandate has been given to the head of state and all of you. The head of state traversed the country explaining a manifesto which Ugandans have approved. So he needs a team that will work to effect that manifesto.
Mukono Municipality MP Betty Namboze and a few opposition MPs were in contradiction to the move, requesting that the local leaders are empowered to function and assist the required ministers as per the Constitution.
If there is any governance gap that has been created, that gap can be fixed by the local leaders. We are being treated as if we are just a rubber stamp parliament. I want to appeal to colleagues that for the first time in the history of this country, let's for the first time stay this motion.
If rationalization, the objectives of rationalization were to be achieved, any variation should be that probably this time round, the Prime Minister is before this House to cut down on the number of ministers as were presented in the previous Parliament. Right, Honourable Speaker, are we proceeding well?
While concerns about cost and duplication have been raised, Uganda's governance demands are unique, and the Constitution provides for this adaptive approach.
The House, chaired by Speaker Jacob Oboth, sided with the majority, approving the number of cabinet ministers to 81.
Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the vetting of the appointed ministers has been placed on Monday next week. This follows the move by the House, which agreed to constitute the members of the Appointments Committee. Parliament was also notified of the new leader of opposition, which is Joel Senyonyi, who bounced back, having served for 2.5 years in the 11th Parliament.
Why has that place become a bottomless pit? Why do they not finish constructing that place so that members don't sit on their laps? Especially because money is appropriated. It would be a different thing if somebody was saying there is no money available, but money is passed here. At one time I said, look, can we stop passing this money? But the money is appropriated, work doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Parliament spends billions of shillings to rent office space.
Within 2 weeks, the clerk will give me the status report on that building and what needs to be done and when it's going to be completed. And I'll report here. So the business committee has to work. We are going to do what they call resetting the factory default. Thank you very much.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
This week saw the orientation of members of the 12th Parliament focused on the practical workings of the House, with new and returning MPs taken through seating arrangements, procedure and parliamentary protocol. Now, Senior Clerk to Parliament Peter Odeke advised MPs on the importance of following the rules of procedure to the dot.
The orientation of members of the 12th Parliament continued today with sessions dedicated to understanding how the august House functions on a day-to-day basis. Lawmakers were taken on a guided tour of Parliament where they received a briefing on the history and the significance of the institution.
The front benches, on this side, this is called the Treasury bench. The Treasury bench is reserved for ministers. So once we have cabinet ministers approved, we allow them to take the front bench, starting with the most senior, closest to the speaker, and they spill over. Similarly, to the left-hand side, the first seat is reserved for the leader of the opposition. And then they have their hierarchy, maybe the whips, and then the shadow cabinet, and those also sit on this side.
Inside the chambers, Senior Clerk to Parliament Peter Odeke walked the members through the nitty-gritty of how the House business is conducted, from debate proceedings to voting processes. MPs were also reminded of the importance of registering their attendance, a requirement for participation in parliamentary proceedings. In addition, the legislators were briefed on their administrative entitlements, official protocols and the expected standards of courtesy and conduct while the House is in session.
The Speaker must come and find all of you seated. You don't come after the Speaker. The Speaker should find you here, and then you rise. He gives communication, then the proceeding starts.
Officials said the sessions were aimed at equipping members with the knowledge needed to effectively carry out their legislative duties as the 12th Parliament settles into business. The orientation program for the 12th Parliament is ongoing and is expected to cover more aspects of legislative procedure and governance, climaxing on Friday, 29th May. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
The Democratic Party leadership is set to embark on consultative engagements in the form of meetings, conventions and political rallies over the next 3 years as they work towards establishing the best framework for the party. While addressing the media in Zana, the Vice President of the Democratic Party, Mukasa Mbide, said that since the current party president, Norbert Mao, announced that he is serving his last term, the party has begun searching for his successor, with Mbide's name appearing among the possible candidates.
The Democratic Party is a party whose rules are rooted in history, and some leaders say they can rely on its historical foundation to chart the best way forward. The Vice President of the Democratic Party, Mukasa Mbide, said that whatever the current President, Norbert Mao, is doing, he's doing as an individual because the cooperation agreement they signed with the ruling NRM party expired. However, the party will not crucify him for his mistakes.
Therefore, when you have a brother who is comfortable just being appointed from position to position without any fundamental provisions that take care of the aspirations of and the opinions in our manifesto as the Democratic Party, no consultations are done. I recently saw he fidgeted by writing a letter to President Museveni. I know, Muzei, you know, your Central Executive Committee is going to sit. Please consider me so that I come and address you, so that I can become Speaker.
Mbide emphasized that the problem lies in the failure to implement the cooperation agreement with NRM and not the agreement itself.
The NRM, because of this conduct, zeroed down to one principle, that probably this agreement was meant to provide employment opportunity for one signatory. Thought that the agreement was for purposes of amending the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda to provide for extreme conditions for re-establishing and going back to respect for fundamental human rights, procedures and processes within which we can come up with an electoral commission so that we can definitely have an election that we call an election. This electoral commission is appointed as a task force by one candidate.
Mbide said the party has not been carrying out activities such as reaching out to branches and holding meetings, which he described as completely undemocratic, but pledged to revive the party's glory as a mass party.
We take the honor to invite back all of those that have left the party. Please come and lead us. Doesn't matter where you want to occupy. Come. All positions are vacant for the next leadership. Come and we lead this thing. Don't go away. Our president is proud that he is a member of parliament and that those that didn't win their positions of authority are veranda politicians. So, let us commence a veranda politicians fraternity.
He said the party president made his mistakes and it is now time for the rest of the DP fraternity to make their own decisions collectively. He's set to lead the party in starting consultations through which they will come up with a list of possible replacements for Norbert Mao, who said he's serving his final term.
This seat is considered vacant, at least for the next election. And two, that I am running a process of sourcing for the next leader of the Democratic Party. We are going to come up with a list, and I am number one on that list.
Meanwhile, Mbide commented on the current breed of legislators in the 12th Parliament, saying they are more or less live voters and that real legislators were voted out. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
The Forum for Democratic Change expressed disappointment over the newly appointed cabinet ministers, saying it retained most of the same old individuals. According to the party president, Patrick Amuriat-Oboy, the individuals will not be in position to help President Museveni achieve his dream of term no sleep. Instead, it might end up being term deep sleep.
Addressing the media at the FDC offices in Kampala, the FDC president without mentioning individual names, says the new cabinet cannot bring the much anticipated change in term no sleep, since most of the ministers are the same old ones.
First and foremost, it is more of the same. This to me looks like a reshuffle, not a new appointment. Because the characters who have been included in that cabinet have been long-serving acquaintances, most of them, of Museveni. And they have not caused a change in the situation in our country. And so Ugandans should brace themselves for more of the same. I understand, this Kisanja is dubbed Kisanja no sleep. For us, we think it's Kisanja deep sleep.
On Ebola outbreak, the FDC hopes the task force handles the outbreak without harsh restrictions and without corruption tendencies.
We want to caution government against repeating the mistakes made during the COVID-19 lockdowns, which left many Ugandans economically shattered and struggling to recover even up to today. It would therefore be irresponsible to impose harsh restrictions again without considering how citizens will survive. Government should prioritize measures that stop the spread of the disease while allowing Ugandans to continue earning a living wherever possible. The FDC also warns against corruption and abuse of public funds during this crisis.
Amuriat also blames government for the rising fuel costs across the country. Amuriat, although acknowledges it's due to Iran-US war, but says if government had enough reserves, the costs would have not risen as it is.
Our government has had more than 40 years to prepare for any fuel crisis, but it hasn't chosen to do so. Whereas Uganda may not be able to control these international price escalations, any functioning government maintains fuel reserves enough to sustain the country for at least 6 months without price increases, even as global prices rise.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Still in the course of a week, several businesses and residential structures were demolished in Kawala 1, a Kampala suburb, over widespread encroachment on drainage channels and protected environmental zones. The exercise was carried out by NEMA Environmental Protection Police Unit together with other sister agencies to intensify the crackdown against environmental degradation.
By 9 a.m., heavy security deployment was mounted in Kawala 1 to enforce the restoration exercise against illegal encroachment on the protected environmental zones of Lubigi. Several structures were brought down, including residential houses, kiosks, shops, and other business establishments constructed along drainage channels and environmentally complex zones. The operation, which left several residents and business owners torn down, forms part of the government efforts to restore degraded ecosystems and address the growing challenge of flooding in urban areas.
We continue to condemn this. If they are saying that they are preserving wetlands, let the wetlands be considered at all levels, not segregating people.
According to NEMA, the operation follows several notices and warnings issued to illegal occupants in Lubigi wetland.
Restoring environment to get the greater good of ecological services that come along with improved environment, there may be occasional pains. But we ensure that we mitigate them. We try to be as humane as possible.
Some residents were seen swiftly removing furniture, roofing material and merchandise moments before the structures were pulled down, while others watched helplessly. NEMA says the demolition exercise is not intended to punish residents, but rather enforce environmental laws aimed at protecting lives, property, and the environment.
Let's start just from basics. Floods. The floods. When floods come and cut off roads, everyone suffers. Those who did it and those who didn't do it. So when we protect and restore the wetland, even if you hate me, you are hating me for nothing, because I'm doing it for your own good, for the good of the country, for the good of all of us.
Nonetheless, the exercise sparked frustration among residents and business owners, many of whom accuse officials of leaving them homeless and economically devastated. NEMA says the persistent encroachment on protected zones has continued to affect the natural flow of water, increased cases of flooding, poor sanitation and environmental degradation, especially during heavy rains in Kampala. Kampala in particular has in recent years experienced recurring flooding resulting from blocked drainage channels, wetland encroachment and poor waste management.
When heat waves reduce, everyone benefits. When we have clean water, everyone benefits. When we have improved biodiversity and we have better tourism, better lives, everyone benefits. So, you may see it as inconvenience, as pain, but there are more dividends to it than the short-term occasional inconvenience.
Accordingly, unregulated urban settlements continue to put erroneous pressure on the fragile ecosystems as rapid population growth, increasing demand for housing force many people to occupy restricted areas. The operations will continue in other affected areas as part of the broader efforts to strengthen environmental compliance and climate resilience. Susan Naung and Michael Bakabulindi reporting for EBC TV.
Kisoro district authorities announced the temporary closure of border points connecting Uganda to the Democratic Republic of Congo following government directives aimed at preventing the spread of Ebola. The announcement was made by the Kisoro District Deputy Resident District Commissioner Dan Ndikumwami shortly after a security meeting was held in Kisoro District.
Ndikumwami explained that the decision follows reports of Ebola cases in parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, prompting Ugandan authorities to tighten surveillance and restrict cross-border movements to protect the public from a possible outbreak. He noted that security personnel and health officials have been deployed at various entry points and porous borders to enforce the directive and monitor the situation closely.
Nanga abandi bantu bashinzwe kubyumutekano bose twabashize ku borderline is sub counties zose ziri hafi na border twashize kuyataje umuntu numukora ki gusubira kunyuraho.
Dan Ndikumwami noted that today's security meeting resolved that Congolese learners who study from Uganda as day scholars will not be allowed to cross until further notice. He adds that those schools around the borders will be closely monitored and follow the standard operating procedures.
Bari kuva Kongo bari hano mu mashuri gacu katuge bari in boarding tuvuze tukipinga turi kwa monitoringa.
He announced that Kisoro Security Committee has suspended entry of new refugees in this period when the ministry directed the closure of borders.
Twewe nka district security committee cyangwa district task force ya Ebola tuvuze ngo hatagize ukoliki zitangira ko tuzibe zirist ntabwo tugiye kuzemera kujyo zizazi until bazaduha permission kujyo tubemere bakoliki bazatangira gutahamo.
Dr. Nick Muneza, the Assistant District Health Officer in charge of disease control and surveillance, noted that health officials are deployed to all over the districts doing screening. He adds that the 4 Ebola suspects who were in isolation tested negative to Ebola and were treated and discharged. Muneza noted that both churches and schools are following the standard operating procedures. He says the soaps have only been filled in markets which the government closed.
As far as we are concerned, we have now gone for a week without suspecting any person. And this strategy of closing borders, I think to me, is very, very important.
Today, journalists visited the Bunagana border point and silence was observed as a few people were seen crossing to and fro Kisoro and Democratic Republic of the Congo. Relatedly, Mpondwe has been closed and Congolese that crossed illegally have been pushed back.
Relatedly, a Ugandan biotechnology company, Day Biopharma, announced the filing of a utility patent application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office for a next-generation mRNA vaccine platform designed to provide broad protection against major Ebola-causing viruses. The vaccine platform, developed under the leadership of Dr. Matthias Magola, targets several dangerous Ebola virus strains responsible for major outbreaks, including the Zaire strain, Sudan strain, Bundibujo strain, and the West African or Makona lineage linked to the deadly 2014 to 2016 West African epidemic.
According to Ugandan-based biotech firm, the patent application outlines the use of engineered consensus and mosaic Ebola virus glycoprotein antigens formulated in lipid nanoparticles to support rapid outbreak response and broader immune protection. The company says the filing contains 24 distinctive claims covering antigen design, mRNA delivery systems, lipid nanoparticle formulations, manufacturing processes, dosing methods, and clinical use applications for outbreak response and protection of frontline health workers. Speaking about the innovation, Dr. Magola said the new platform seeks to change the traditional approach of developing separate vaccines for different Ebola strains.
Our factory is built to meet the most stringent standards, like the US FDA, WHO standards, EMA is European Medicine Agency. Any stringent standard in the world, we are being constructed to meet all those standards.
The development comes at a time of renewed global attention on Ebola preparedness following the recent Bundibujo virus disease outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, which the World Health Organization classified as a public health emergency of international concern. Currently, approved Ebola vaccines, including Evabo, are unlicensed for protection against Zaire Ebola virus and do not protect against other Ebola species such as Sudan or Bundibujo viruses. Day Biopharma says its platform is designed to close this gap by targeting conserved surface structures shared among major outbreak causing Ebola viruses using advanced consensus and mosaic antigen technologies. The company further revealed that preparations are underway for phase 1 human clinical trials with a plan to seek conditional approval within 48 to 60 months from the start of development. Under its development roadmap, Day Biopharma intends to file an investigation new drug application with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to support clinical trials involving healthy volunteers. The trials are expected to assess vaccine safety, tolerability, and dosage levels. The biotech firm also says it is engaging global health partners, including the World Health Organization, Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, to support procurement, deployment, and stockpiling discussions. Dr. Magola says the project reflects Africa's growing capacity to develop its own solutions for epidemic preparedness and reduce dependence on external vaccine supply chains during the health emergencies.
We want to be able to manufacture all essential drugs here in Uganda. So we are able to supply the country, supply the region, supply Africa and the world.
Tanaba Kenneth compiled the story for UBC News.
In other news, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development tasked the Electricity Regulators Association of East Africa to incorporate mining into the Regional Energy Collaboration Framework for Sector Development. Moureen Babirye, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, says adding mining to the regional power collaboration mix will create an alternative baseload for power operations.
While convening the 31st Executive Council meeting and the 18th Annual General Assembly of the Electricity Regulators Association of East Africa, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Moureen Babirye, highlighted key infrastructure developments aimed at enhancing regional power trade.
We have also started discussions with the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we will be supporting supply into Goma, Beni, Butembo, among other areas on the DRC side. We are already trading with Kenya. On our side, we are working to enhance our transmission infrastructure. We are going to strengthen the Jagali, Tororo, Lesos.
The association has been tasked to integrate mining into its mandate in order to strengthen the energy mix and harmonize the licensing framework across member states.
Mining as part of their mandate to complete the picture around energy security. The mining sector is extremely important. It unlocks demand for power that goes to enhance the work of the association, but also it provides critical raw materials that will support the energy sector, but also petroleum, transformers from copper.
The collaboration among member states is also expected to enhance the adoption of renewable energy within the region.
We want affordable energy, we want stable energy, and we want fairly priced energy. So, and that's what each member country is aspiring to.
Through shared learning, benchmarking, and coordinated regulatory approaches that improve sector performance and sustain investor confidence.
Member states are further focusing on strengthening petroleum infrastructure and finding regional solutions to common energy challenges.
Have the legal frameworks between the region, the East African region, to be able then to come up with a synchronized tariff system. Indeed, one unit as East African community when pricing, so that we do not have to destabilize the neighboring community. So we do affirmative action in order to also factor in that very important aspect of the neighbors.
The association is strategizing on the harmonization of regional power tariffs and the development of cross-border regional power markets.
Now, residents of Mvuba village in Jeza, PG district, have accused police of harassment and arbitrary arrests amid a land dispute involving the family of the late Angelo Casidie and Fourways Investment Limited. The residents claim the arrests are aimed at intimidating and preventing them from cultivating land they rely on for their welfare. However, Katonga Regional Police spokesperson Lydia Timushabe says police are only acting to prevent violence and maintain public order. Take a look.
Zabagagga tetuzirimu babagamba dera batuuza kudda bakimanyi nti ettaka lya Fourways era Fourways yeditwala kubanze taata wange yafa 26 naye nga yalabako ku muyindi era ebyo byabwe batuleke ffe tukole bo be bamakola ki ffe tebabako be baba batutulugunya tuleka mu ntalo zaffe ffe
twatandikawo ng'ekisiko ekiri ne tulimawo ntuusa tutuusizaawo nga wafaanana we wati kati balabye nga tumaze okutereezaawo ne balyoka batukola ki batugobaawo
eyo nga naye emigugu gyange nga nina n'obuyumba bwange busega bwonna baabumenyawo ne buggwawo naye nsigala nga sirina kye nnina nalina bannange be nali mbeera nabo ne mbaga tweyiye obulamu obupya kuba kati Kampala egaanye kye twasalawo okukola ne tujja tunoonya emirimu tulina munnaffe yatuzuula batugamba eno waliwo Fourways erina emirimu erina samba erina amayinja erina omusenyu nekuŋŋaanya bannange ne mbaga tugende tukole Kampala agaanye netusooka tukole ennaku nnya nga tukola mugala amayinja nga we mugalaba nga tulimye kasooli oyo gwolaba waggulu naye batukijjanya ne batugamba bakasirye kyetwakola ne tuvaayo ne tugala tujja kukola mu bintu bya ntalo luvannyuma ne batugaba waliyo meeting batugaba waliyo meeting RDC agikulembera ekyalo kyonna ne kikuŋŋaana ekyalo bwe kyakuŋŋaana ne batuyita naffe ne bannaffe bonna nga twagala kumanya kituufu batugobera ki lwaki batukijjanya bwe bati ne batugamba ebyapa byabali bonna bonna babisazaamu Fourways alina ekyapa ekituufu ng'ensi n'ensi yonna ewulira
Fourways investment balemereddwa okugenda okukozesa ettaka lyabwe nti poliisi egenze mu maaso n'okubatulugunya okukwata abantu ekola enforcing unlawful orders okukwata abakolera ku ttaka lyabwe ate nga baagenda dda ne basasula abeerira abaali balimirako ne basasula ebirime byabwe ebalemesezza RDC yeefudde katonda empiki in regard to that matter akwata abantu bw'abata tabagulako misango agenda n'abakwata ate n'abata n'akwata emmotoka ezisimaze ate n'azita nga talina musango gwabakutteko so tugezezzaako okuvira emiranga mu makamava mu PSU twatuukayo bamukoshoninga bamuyita bamukoshoninga but kiringa ekitamu it all falls on the dead ear n'olwekyo tetukyalina kyakukola apart from suing him personally.
Naye ffe tutunulira emisango gye baakoze jjo awo jjo twakuttewo abantu 11 tugenda bajjawo statement bagenda kubeera nga abajulizi nga poliisi tukubiriza naddala abo abatwalira amateeka mu ngalo okubeera abagumiikiriza so bandibadde balina obwo obugumiikiriza ate ne beewala okutwalira amateeka mu ngalo.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, enendungu yakusabula. Mikono tu, free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UG Pass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UG Pass, your identity secured. Available on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UG Pass is a product of NITA Uganda.
Masakaju. Hawaii. Omwansi tumuleta soka Christopher
Katama, owulira otya kati nti owangudde?
Ndi musanyufu nnyo. Tewali muzadde ayinza obutasanyuka nga bamusasulidde omwaka mulamba, so nebaza nnyo MTN okulaba nti mpangudde. Era nkubiriza abazadde mwena abali eyo, nyiga *165 *880# naawe oyinza okubeera omu mu baki mu bawanguzi.
And for those of you who pay school fees at those schools that don't use Momo, hey, mubatabukire mubagambe leta Momo wano, because you stand a chance to win a van for the school. This is the power of Momo.
And now in our business news, Ugandan insurance executives have convened to discuss strategies aimed at expanding the insurance sector amid growing economic and global uncertainty. Industry players noted that the future of Africa's insurance industry will depend not only on market demand, but also on innovation, transformational leadership, and the ability to anticipate emerging risks.
Business leaders and insurance executives gathered at the 68th CEO's breakfast meeting to assess the current state of the insurance industry and explore strategies for resilience and competitiveness in an increasingly uncertain global environment.
What are those measures that we need to, as leaders?
Discussions focused on how the sector can adapt to economic disruptions, technological change, and evolving global risks that continue to reshape business operations across Africa.
We must be operating from what, in the futuristic way, what do we envisage is going to happen in future. And this helps the industry. And indeed, you are aware that insurance is a risk management tool. We must be able to prepare tools which can withstand the risks.
Speakers emphasized that the future growth of Africa's insurance industry is not limited by demand, but by the sector's ability to reimagine solutions, embrace innovation, and foster transformational leadership capable of driving long-term sustainability.
We need people who are skilled for the future, and especially for the needs and interests and preferences of clients in the insurance industry. And then innovation, continuous innovation, creating new ideas and new insights.
Participants further stressed the need for insurers to adapt a forward-looking approach to risk management by developing products and services that can effectively respond to emerging threats, uncertainties, and changing consumer needs.
We need to see the signals of change and quickly adopt before we are consumed by that change. Because we live in a world of hyper growth, rapid growth, disruptive growth. So we need innovation, we need new ideas and testing them throughout. Then we need partnerships, collaboration. We need to work with others who are better than us, within our ecosystem, but also outside our ecosystem.
The 68th CEO's breakfast meeting comes at a time when businesses across Africa are increasingly seeking adaptive strategies to navigate economic volatility, geopolitical uncertainty, climate-related risks, and rapid technological disruption.
In rural Uganda, many subsistence farmers dream of growing their farms into successful businesses, if only they had capital for better tools and inputs. Good news! The Parish Development Model Fund is here to support subsistence farmers. To access these PDM funds, first, join an enterprise group of 10 to 30 households. Registration is completely free. These groups focus on high-value enterprises. Then, enterprise groups come together to form a PDM circle, led by a chairman who submits a loan application. When the Parish Development Committee receives the loan application, they review, vet, and approve with transparency. SACCO members also receive hands-on training in agriculture extension, business and financial services to the parish SACCO at a practical training center. After the PDC approves the loan application, the SACCO chairman initiates funds disbursement to beneficiaries via Wendy on their mobile phone with the approval of both the SACCO secretary and treasurer on their mobile phones. Finally, the PDM funds are transferred to a beneficiary's Wendy wallet. The beneficiary receives 1 million Ugandan shillings directly on their phone via the Wendy wallet. Parish Development Model, empowering communities for wealth creation.
And now in sport, during the course of a week, Kitara FC were crowned winners of the 2026 Stanbic Uganda Cup after a 2-1 victory over SC Villa in a closely contested final at the Fufa Technical Center in Njeru on 30th May 2026. The final produced an early burst of action as SC Villa took the lead in the 10th minute through Simon Kato Semayangi. Their advantage, however, lasted only 3 minutes as Kitara FC responded swiftly when Messi Diego Semugera turned the ball into his own net under pressure to level the contest at 1-1. Kitara later scored a second goal to grant the victory. The result hands Kitara FC their second Uganda Cup title in just 2 seasons, having previously lifted their maiden trophy in 2024 after a 1-0 victory over NEC FC. The achievement further strengthens their position as one of the rising forces in Ugandan football. Plascon Uganda sponsored the entire tournament with the aim of nurturing talent.
They win in Njeru.
Players really about enriching life, it's about celebration.
In more sports news, a new community-based association, Kisubi United Ex-Players Association, has been launched with a mission to transform lives through football. Now, the non-cultural, non-political and non-sectarian organization aims to promote social and economic development among young people and former football players. Speaking during the launch, members emphasized the importance of unity, teamwork and professionalism in building a balanced and holistic life for communities. The association says it is committed to uplifting members physically, socially and economically through football-driven initiatives and family-oriented support systems. The group's vision is to achieve what they describe as 100% football life in unity and diversity while inspiring hope for both present and future generations. Core values of the association include discipline, accountability, teamwork and professionalism. Kisubi United Ex-Players Association believes football can be a powerful tool for community transformation and sustainable development. That's how much we managed to catch you up on with what transpired during the course of a week. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. Look forward to the 8 and 10 p.m. bulletin with me, Moureen Babirye. Good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.